always like, I love doing it live. I love to see it. We're good. We're
okay.
totally good. Okay. So take a minute. We'll just take a minute, and I just kind of want to introduce people to you. And how can I introduce you? What would you like me to say? I know you're very successful with Marykay. I know you've been working with Marykay for 34 years. You're a Cadillac Global Senior Sales Director, so you're very successful there. I've talked to you about selling. You're not really about selling, and you're not, but you're really about people, which is why I wanted to talk to you, because you're amazing. You're warm. You're just a very kind person. You really believe in people, and now you're actually starting your own show.
That is exactly what's happening. And it's so exciting. We developed this out of just the simple principle of people believing in people. And I have been blessed with so many wonderful people in my world that have just said, you know what, Jen, it's time for you to step it up and do this. And there's a saying that says success is just outside of your comfort zone.
Nice. Yeah.
And that is exactly what we're doing. So I have the show is really to build and entertain people, to educate them, to give them some fun and surprises, and it's a 30-minute fast event that's just going to lift people's spirits. And I think that's such an important thing right now, is to pour that belief back into people, and that's what it's going to be about.
Nice. I love it. And your first show so this is an online show, and your first show is going to be with our mutual friend John, right?
John Garham, the most amazing wine educator, and he's going to come on and roll out four different wines that we have cheeses pairing and some surprises in there. We're also going to give away Marykay products, so all of our guests that come on are going to have an opportunity to do that too. I'm so excited.
That is exciting. I'm definitely going to include it for that one for sure. It's interesting when you're like, what gets you to the point where you're like, okay, I want to do a show. Like, I was just like, where do you get to that place? How do you get there? Because it's not about selling. It's not even about Marykay at that point. Like, you're just like, no, this is about people, and this is about, there's a message here you want to tell people. There's something here you want to share with the world. What were you thinking when you started the show?
Well, we hit the road running when we moved into lockdown over this pandemic, and I'm so used to hugging and kissing and loving people and sitting in their living rooms or their dining rooms or in hotel coffee shops and just lifting them and getting to know them and finding out how I can help them be successful and to whatever success is for them. And to not being able to do that physical connection, we rolled out Zoom fast. It was something I was so uncomfortable with, and it became something that we just started to enjoy. I loved it, and each morning at 10 o'clock, 6 days a week, we had the gang on, and I was able to really connect with them. And out of that came, all right, now we need to do guest nights and to spread the joy of Marykay. The beautiful part is we've always been an online business, and so our sales have actually gone crazy up because people are now doing, just show and tell over Zoom, and so there was able to, people that were not making money were still able to make money, and good money. So that was important for people who needed to do that, and so I trained that.
Nice. You train it how though? Like, you kind of like, you don't train, like, I remember you saying, like, it's not really about selling. It's you invest in the person. Like, we even talked about, like, what do you do with the girl that comes to you and says, I could never do this, I don't know, I don't have the confidence, and you're like, no, hang on a minute. Like, you have another angle for that.
Yeah, we find out who she is. And, a lot of women have a little giant inside that's screaming to get out. And a lot of times they will invest in their family members or their relationships or their children, and they don't necessarily put themselves in a priority. And so we rebuild dreams with women that we look into their hearts and say, okay, what is it as a little girl you left behind? And let's show you how you not only deserve that, but there is a way for you to get that. And so then we break down how much, investment she wants to put in regarding time. And the women that do well are the ones that will do 20 seconds of courage And that, it's a funny thing, but we are all often shy to just say, I don't want to reach out, and I don't want to bother someone, or I don't want to do this. And you know what? We all want the connection. We all want that connection. And so it's the beauty within that we build.
Wow. What is 20 seconds of connection? I love this, everything you're saying. Like, there's so many questions, like, okay, so what's 20 seconds of connection, and how do you tap into this point where they're like, hey, shy guys, where you kind of like deserve, like you said, you deserve this. And I remember you told me a story about, like, I definitely wanted you to tell me about the story about where everybody sits around and does everybody's makeup and stuff, and they because that's just like, it's not about knocking women down. It's about building women up. And is that all part of that?
Very much. And, I think that, when women are together, Marykay Ash was brilliant in how she built this marketing plan, because the only way that we can get ahead is helping other women get ahead. Mm-hmm. So we all lock arms and we build each other together. And it's a very unique place to be, because women can be the opposite. If they're against, they can be very challenging. But if we are together, we are so powerful. We are so powerful. And so we remind people of how much it how good it feels. And so it's an incredibly positive experience. But even in the skincare class, I think this is the part you were talking about. I was saying how, if we go around the table and we, say, okay, what do we like best about, Karen's new look? And each of those girls gives a compliment. The other thing is receiving sincere compliments from other women is a very empowering thing. And so we're taught to look for the best in people. And a lot of times, we as women, if you ask me, or any woman, well, give me 10 things that you don't like about yourself, she can rattle that off so fast.
Absolutely.
But give me 10 things that you love about yourself, and that's a slower train. And so when we flip that thinking, when we teach you how to flip the thinking and working with the woman in the mirror, and it's the woman in the mirror that you want to work on. A lot of times people will spend all this time saying, well, if so-and-so changed, and if, my husband did this or my boyfriend did that, and this person changed, and give God this entire grocery list of all the things that somebody else needs to change so that they can have a better life. It's not that. It's when you shift, they shift. So if you spend an entire lifetime working at the girl in the mirror, making her strong, encouraging her, and building her, then everything around you changes. And the people that you are wanting to see change will actually shift because of the higher vibration that she's on. It's a fascinating thing when looking at the good.
Yeah, and you just focus on that. You're just like trying to find, like you said, that inner giant. I love that. I'm going to quote you on that next time. But like that inner giant inside of every woman. There's something beautiful about every woman, and I just need to give her like permission, I guess, to come out.
And you know what? It's so true. I think that it's interesting that we feel like we need permission to look good. We need permission. Marykay, years ago, she encouraged us to wear dresses and suits, and she said, if we weren't trying to look like men, we wanted our femininity to be this strong part, and it was so true. So if we put on a dress or a skirt, then we will look at our better shoes and go, well, I can't wear these ones, but I can wear my better shoes. Oh, and then I should wear those earrings. And you start to take it up instead of moving it down.
Moving it down, yeah.
And when we look in the mirror and we feel that we're looking our best, because we are a visual society, then we act different. And when we feel good about ourselves, then we project a different image to ourselves, and then it is a different image within the world. And it's a wonderful thing. We all know that. The day we decide we're just not going to have a shower, we're going to lay around in our pajamas all day, our energy is not the same. We're not productive. And yes, sometimes we need those days. I'm not saying that, but I know that when we invest in ourselves, it's then we become better mothers, we become better wives, we become better women of the community. We just feel better, and it takes again that vibration higher. One of the things that I always suggest to women when they start to just kind of refine themselves is to be absolutely crazy about gratitude. That to be obsessed over gratitude, and when you do shift that energy within yourself to look around and go, gosh, life is great. And when you start to give that energy out to other people and compliments, it starts to come back to you, because what we give out, we receive.
Yeah, you're radiating all that positivity, all that stuff. So then, of course, that's attracting a lot of stuff towards you as well, right? That's awesome. So it's almost kind of that look good, feel good kind of approach, or like if I look good and I look in the mirror, then I'm like, okay, well now I'm feeling better and I'm feeling more confident, and I'm going to go out there, I'm going to act more confident. They're going to it's like self-fulfilling prophecy.
It really is.
Wow.
It really is.
Yeah.
And you can continue to build and shift and lift higher all the time. It takes work. Some people will say, well, you're just always so positive. Thankfully, it is my nature. It doesn't mean I don't have terrible days and bad days, but I've learned to become very buoyant with that, because, we need to be kind to ourselves, but we also have a need to be positive. We have a need to be happy. And I think that, I enjoyed laughter. I think that's why this show is going to be so much fun, because we're going to be entertaining people and having such a great time, just empowering the people that want to come on to have a good giggle and to know that we're so very, very fortunate.
It's so interesting when I talk to you. Okay, I don't want to miss these questions. There's two questions in here. They both ask the same question, so it must be fairly important. It's so interesting when I thought to talk to you. It was just like, I'm like, oh, this lady's like way up here in Marykay. She's got all these businesses. It's just amazing how much you're about laughter and about fun and about connection and stuff. It's so interesting. You don't have that hard drive, sell. Oh, by the way, did you see my latest product? And that's not what you radiate. You radiate something different. And that's very, very cool. It surprised me. Actually, I was surprised when I talked to you. I was like, wow, look at this. Like, it's very different than I thought. Do you find that people are guarded up with you sometimes because of who you are? Do you find that when they get around you that they're almost guarded? Like, they're like, oh man, like, I don't want this lady selling stuff to me. I don't want her trying to get me. Like, do you find that?
Well, I hear them say that when they join the company. The first thing that they'll say is, well, I'm not a salesperson. And, I love hearing that, because when we get these hardcore salespeople, we have to actually take the sales out of them, because we have to put the teaching back in. See, nobody wants to be sold anything, but we all want to buy. And so if I know you heard me, then I want to know what you know. Marykay always said that people don't care how much you know till they know how much you care.
Yeah, good for you, yeah. And then that's the teaching part that you were talking about. Teach people to care for
That's the teaching.
Okay, these ladies are asking, how do you start the process? And both of them said, one says, how do you start the process? The other one said, where do you start with that? And I'm assuming that's like, start bringing the giant out. Like, how do you start with the process of changing? How do you start with that?
I thought a lot about what we do with people when we need to find where they are and how to start building that confidence to build a business, to reconnect to their soul, and to just, it's so important for you to know who you are. And so how do you do that? You need to take time. You need to take time for you and turn off the social media and turn off the television and turn off the noise and get quiet and go back into things that make you happy. So start writing lists. I'm a writer, and I just, you write things that, if I knew I could not fail.
I posted that yesterday or a couple of days ago, actually. So
did you?
That meme, I posted that on Instagram. If you knew you couldn't fail, what would you do?
what would you do, and
Yeah.
what does it look like, and to dream big, and to go really, really, really big, because you can. And when you know that, your mind will pick up on that. Our mind doesn't know the difference between a truth or a lie. So we need to constantly be feeding it and reprogramming a lot of that past messaging. We all carry this backpack around with the things that people had said to us at points of our lives, sometimes as young people, and we carry it around. It becomes our identity. Now, in order for you to lose that, if it's not serving you, you need to constantly be sweeping it away. So a negative thought about yourself comes in to say, who do you think you are? You could never do that.
Yeah.
And then you need to learn how to just sweep it away. You know, there's something, a quote that I learned many years ago that has always stayed with me is, it's not who you are that holds you back from success. It's who you think you're not.
Mm. Yeah. And you're saying it's like this belief system. The belief system is everything. Do you find that by rallying around, by building each other up and having that support, it's like a team thing? It takes a village to do this kind of thing?
Yeah. But women are so amazing. I mean, men are too.
That's okay. We're not.
But women are so strong, and they're always able to break belief barriers that they never thought they could, if they are connected to the right energy source. And that is surrounding yourself with people that believe in you. And we call them your balcony people. Those are the people that no matter what, they're cheering you on to a finish line. And those are the people that you need to have in your court. And they are out there. There's so many people will use that as an excuse. They'll use things that my children as an excuse. My husband, and only if, and that is not necessarily correct. You are powerful within yourself, and you can achieve anything you want if you want it bad enough and you're willing to pay the price.
Mm-hmm. Is that how you encourage yourself? Because you can't be always motivated. How does a woman who has, I think you said 300 people, like they're directly, that you're working with all the time, and it's just like, how do you stay motivated? Who's motivating you all the time?
Oh, I have surrounded myself with amazing people, and I was blessed to be from a very strong family of encouragement, and so that came natural to me to give that back, because I was given that. But I was trained by Marykay, the lady herself, and
amazing.
I know. And my national sales director was the #1 national in the globe, and she was a strong Texan woman that she had this, we always called it a steel hand in a velvet glove. And so she knew. I remember calling her, crying, oh my gosh, this person said no, and I just want to die. And she's like, Jennifer, you just stop crying. I'm calling you back. We're going to figure it out. And I'd cry away and call her back, and we'd figure it out. And I always felt supported. And it wasn't just my experience. This is the Marykay world. Just people believing and pouring belief into each other. And it is an amazing culture that I had no idea that I was, you just kind of think everybody has the life that you have. We can often cross over by thinking everyone's experiences are just like our own. But it's been beautiful. And so I have had many people that have poured into me and believed in me. And I've hit heights that I never thought I could. I remember earning my very first company car. I never owned a car. I earned every car that I've had in Marykay, 14 cars.
Wow.
Because people believed that I could. And so I took on that belief even when I didn't think it was possible. Because we can look at all of our own shortcomings and just think, well, gosh, that's for somebody else. And I remember the first time I saw somebody earn a car in Marykay, she had a British accent. And I thought, well, I could never win a car because I don't have a British accent. I mean, that's where I was.
Funny, yeah. Well, you must have a Texan accent.
People think that. It's very funny. But I've enjoyed it. But it doesn't matter Marykay or not. Wherever you are on, in your life. I hope that there's a woman on this line that has a big dream that doesn't think she can achieve it. I can tell you that you can. And you need to dig deep, and you need to remind yourself of all those positive things that you have that nobody else does. Mm-hmm. And you go to be the best you, not the second best somebody else. And that's another thing that sometimes we do. We as women will often, will compare our worst to someone else's best. Mm-hmm. And that is, we do it, and we need to remind ourselves of how great we are, and spend time with those people that believe in us. And you don't share your goal with people that are going to say that is impossible. So,
right, that's so important.
Be careful. You gotta protect it, and just keep going. And the other thing is you in order to be successful, you need to start, number one, and number two, you never quit. You just keep going, and each bump along the road is going to give you the strength to be able to share your story with other people. And those little bumps are just as important as the successes. Someone once told me that if you go along a dirt road, old country road, and you've got, there's lots of potholes, and you go real slow, mm-hmm. You're going to feel every pothole. But if you go real fast, you don't feel them. You just skim right over them.
Nice.
So you need to be 20 seconds of courage. 20 seconds of courage every day, and set out to achieve whatever it is that your dream is, and you can do it.
Can you explain? I love that, because can you explain 20 seconds of courage? What does 20 seconds of courage look like?
Well, in our business, if I, was in the grocery store lineup and I saw a woman that I thought might really enjoy a pamper session with Marykay, or possibly it's somebody that I just got the instinct that she might be great in our company, I will remind myself, if I have 20 seconds of courage and I ask her, I'm going to change her life. Mm-hmm. This is not about what's in it for me, but what if I was changing her life? And so in 20 seconds, I can say, I don't know you. I just ran into you, and this is the feeling that I have, and I wanted to just ask you if this is something you would be interested in. And in that 20 seconds, she's going to do anything she wants. She's either going to say yes, she's going to say no, thank you, I'm not interested. She could be having a really rotten day and say something else.
Yep, absolutely.
But you're in that 20 seconds, the people that respond and it favorably will not only build your business, but it always makes me so excited to see what's in it for them. When somebody, calls you in tears and said, if you didn't have that 20 seconds of courage that you did in that grocery store lineup, I wouldn't be putting Johnny in hockey school, or I wouldn't be helping, pay for my child's education, or take my family on a holiday, or whatever it is that they need. So
it's paid for you. That must be incredible for you to be able to look back and say, like, I'm not selling makeup. I'm building lives. I'm changing lives. That must be a very fulfilling thing for you.
It really is. It becomes what I worked for. Is what's in it for you. And it's hard because we get paid brilliantly. We get beautiful commission, and we get gifts and diamonds and awards and pink Cadillacs, and there's so many beautiful gifts that you get in Marykay. But the greatest thrill is to see what's in it for someone else. And so I was trained that when you go to someone's home, now, of course, we're doing it differently, but we go to someone's home, or I'm in the hotel, and we go in to find out who they are and what's in it for them. We leave our goals outside the door. And when we leave, we pick up our own goals, and then we head on our way. And that's when you can do the best job for her.
Yeah, because now you're putting that other person first. You're kind of like, hey, how can I help you? How can I get you the life you want?
That's right.
That's fascinating and super cool. Kelsey's asking, what are some of the specific strategies that you use, like, in order to find yourself, in order to, I'm assuming she's like, to build yourself up, to get yourself, what about in your everyday life outside of work, 20 seconds of courage is what she's saying.
A schedule. You need a schedule, you need a plan, and you need to stay in action. Sometimes people will talk about just doing, thinking about it. Like lots of people will want to manifest their dreams by just, rolling around in them and thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking. That is not going to get you there. That is one of a very important part of the secret to success that you need to visualize. But the second thing is that you need to be in action. And depending on where you need to or want to achieve and how fast you want to achieve that, that is how much you need to spend in action. So no one achieves anything with staying in this little bubble, this little comfort.
Yeah.
And we need to step out and we need to find out who we are. And I guess that when, what you were asking earlier, Ken, about being on, doing this talk show, well, totally outside of my comfort zone. And every day I'm thinking, oh my goodness, what am I doing? And it's becoming so fun.
Yeah.
I'm so excited and honored that you are going to be on our second episode. I'm very, very.
I'm also very excited about that because I think you and I kind of come at our purpose for life the same way. It's about using our gifts to make the world a better place. I think we talked a little bit about that a couple of days ago. It was just that's my whole thing. Yeah, I get paid. Yeah, I get all these things, but it's that just turns me on to know that I'm using my gifts to make the world better. And that's my purpose for life. I get to live out my passion project, and I feel you're very much the same.
Well, that's what they say, that if you enjoy what you do so much that you would do it for free, someone will pay you handsomely for it.
Oh, that's a good expression. Yeah, that's awesome. So you're saying okay, if you're sitting there going, hey, and there's all these girls are basically saying the same thing. How do I start? How do I go? How do I get myself going? What's this? What do I use when you get burnt out? When Kelsey's saying, yes, what's a strategy when you get burnt out? With going full out all the time.
Okay, so when you're burned out, you're on that low steam. You're out of steam, and so you need to find out what's going to nurture you back into lifting that vibration up. So sometimes we have to think of what our environment is, our conversation, which girlfriend on the phone is, just going on and on and on and on and on about all the negative, terrible things that are happening in the world. And, you can always tell when you get off a conversation with somebody, their perspective. And I really believe that if it doesn't align with where you're headed, you need to wake up with that. Now, doesn't mean that we can walk away from all the people that are in our lives that might not be, whistling Dixie all the time. Yeah. But you do need to be very careful who is draining you.
Who's draining you? Yeah, good for you. Yeah.
Who is draining you, and your boundaries need to be in place. But I keep going back to that girl in the mirror because she knows when she needs to pull back. She knows when she needs to step it up and to just be more gentle with herself and take some time and rest and sleep and not stay up all night and watch episode after episode of whatever. We do know how to work with our own bodies and our own minds. And I think that will help with burnout. I don't know this particular person's story and I don't want to assume that I do, but I just think that there are ways that we can nurture ourselves and we actually know it.
Yeah. And I guess that with the combination of, like you said, let's have a list, let's have a structure, let's accept the fact that this is going to be hard. Let's try and let's have some action, and then let's build up a team around you. So I guess it's kind of it's the whole package.
Yeah, you need to design. You need to design the life that you would like to step into, and then start breaking down what you can do today. What can you do today to change that? What can you do and start giving? When I think that gratitude and you can ride an elevator and change someone's life by just commenting sincerely, and start practicing giving away compliments and recognizing people and looking them in the eyes and hearing them. And it will start to shift your communication. And when your communication moves higher, you will then attract a different different people into your life.
Yes. Yeah. How do you've said the gratitude thing. How do you get gratitude in your life? Because some people say, well, just think of 3 things that you're grateful for. How do you cultivate gratitude in your daily life?
I think I can think of easy things every day. I mean, we can think of a million things, even just being Canadian, like, oh my star. But every single day, there's something that we can be. We live here. And there, we could all come up with 25 things every single day that we are grateful for.
Yeah.
We turn on a tap, we get water. Like, it doesn't have to be these humongous things of, I have $1 million coming to me. Whatever it is, it's these little things, and each one of those will enrich your spirit. Each time you say those things to yourself, you're moving into a higher vibration, which will attract a different life.
A different life. Also, you said a couple of days ago that you got to be ready to say yes, basically, because your story, that's kind of what I got from your story, because you're like, Cam, this weird thing, like you were telling me the story about like how your life just kind of went to here, then you went to this party, this lady saw it, and you just said, whatever it is, I say yes. Like, and that started your life. Like, it was like you were ready to say yes to whatever God, the universe, fate, whatever was willing to give me. Let's say yes. And I thought that was an impactful story that you were kind of saying to me, because very few of us are just like, I'm blindly just going to say yes, let's go, and be available for that minute, right?
Edward, can you plug my phone in, please?
Thanks, Edward.
Thank you, Edward. I just don't want to lose you because I've run out of juice here. I was telling you the story of my friend Marykay, who I didn't know her at all at that time. And I was at an event I was a guest speaker, but I was really not the big show. I was just putting in a few words and supporting a friend. I was at, just some beautiful people, very professional women were at this event. And this woman with these gorgeous golden eyes and this beautiful brown skin, she was the most beautiful woman. And she walked up to me and she said, I had driven away. The event was over. I left the house, and I turned around to come back to ask you a question. And I just looked at her and I said, I have no idea what you're going to ask me, but I can tell you the answer is yes. And she smiled at me and she said, I knew you would say that. And I said, now can you tell me what I said yes to? And she said, we need 500 gifts for the women, Marykay gifts for the women of the downtown east side for Christmas. And I said, well, I have no idea how I will ever get 500 gifts, but I'm going to tell you right now that I will. And it was such an empowering moment. And of course we did. I set out to phone around and we created, the drives and the message it was so rewarding.
Nice.
But it is almost like every time you hear people that tell you a story of success when they say yes. I mean, how many people do you know that went to, a party that they weren't going to go to, and in the last minute they went, and they met the man of their dreams. Mm-hmm. And they were just, whenever we say yes, instead of staying home or making up a reason why we wouldn't fit in, or we don't have the right outfit, or if you just say yes, your life becomes so much richer.
Right. That story was fascinating. It stuck with me. And then from there, you got an invite. And from there, you got, like you said, you're speaking to those ladies from the church. And from there, you got more. And it's almost like, it's like, here's your opportunity. You want it? And you're like, yes, let's go. Since then, you've never really looked back.
And it pushed me right out of my comfort zone, because then she said to me, well, we would love for you to come downtown when we do this event that we do every year at Christmas, where we feed these people, these women of the downtown east side. And it is something that has never been comfortable for me. I can write a check, I can support, I can fundraise, but to actually be in the face, looking eyeball to eyeball to these people that were struggling, was something that was so scary in my soul. And I said to her, well, I have consultants that would love to do that, Amrita, and I would prefer, that they did that because they really want to, and I'm really busy, and I was totally not. And she said, well, Jennifer, no, we really want you. And I thought, oh, okay, I'm going to do it because, again, I've got to say yes.
Yeah.
I got a model pink Cadillac, and I drove downtown with all these Marykay presents in the car. And I went in, and I was nervous, and I was scared. I don't think I wanted to see the pain in these people. And what I ended up seeing are the most beautiful people. And it was just absolutely one of the most important things that I had done to shift my thoughts. And I remember looking at this woman who was living on the street, and she was a lawyer who had whatever her story was, but the kindness in her eyes. And I thought, wow, I needed this lesson. And every day we have lessons that we can learn about other people. And it was just beautiful. So I was so glad. And then it led to me saying yes again to being the guest speaker at the Catholic Women's League annual event. And that, because I said yes, was I comfortable with speaking in front of 500 lovely Catholic ladies and not being Catholic?
Right.
And I said yes to that, and it led to 5 more parishes hiring me for that same speech. So saying yes is just one of the most important keys to living a rich life.
Nice. That's fantastic. I love it. And it's a great story to tell too, right? Again, the same thing. It's about people. It's about connection. It's about relationships. It's always I always find that all your stories kind of go there. Even when you were telling me about your team that was doing for the show, you were going on and on. John's the greatest, and my Ethan's so great, and you're very warm. This isn't just about selling. This is about something else, and I think that's important. And you think that attributes to your success?
Oh yes. Yes, it's investing in other people, and there's so many beautiful things in people. You can sit beside somebody you don't know on a park bench and learn about things that you don't know. I feel like you can learn from everybody. Everyone is a teacher, and I love that. I love who people are. I love their stories. And the interesting thing about struggling is they're the most interesting people, that when they come through those low times, that they face those struggles, that they want to be better people, that they'll listen, they'll learn, they'll grow themselves. They become these amazing souls that we want to learn from. Because if you're around people that are either have gone through challenging times but want to stay there, they I don't know if they want to stay there, but they're not willing to release some of that. That's a different thing. But when they do start to release and move higher, and they have a story to share, they become powerful people.
Yeah, and lots of character too, because they're coming from like a life experience. Yeah. That's amazing. That's great. What would be your top 3 kind of things that you would say to women? If you were like, okay, look, I got a message. These are my top 3s. Like, what would I say? What would I say to women that were watching? They were just like, how do I be a more powerful woman? How do I be more successful? How do I do it? Like, how do I get there? What would you say?
I would say flip your thinking. Flip your thinking around to focus on the positive. That it is everywhere. If you look for it, if you look for the good in people, you'll find it. When you see the good in people, tell them what you see. It will start to radiate back on you. Okay. Be kind to the woman in the mirror. Tell her the great things about what you see. Focus on others, but focus on you. And what happens is you become very attractive because of your light.
Yeah. Because you're always kind of radiating. Well, especially, if you like show up every day too. If you look in the mirror and you decide, I'm going to show up today.
Show up.
I'm going to do my makeup. I think you did say show up to me when I talked to you. I think that was one of your kind of things. Like, you got to show up.
You got to show up. And you got to show up, and you've got to feel good. And so if you can push yourself to get up if you don't have to leave your home right now. We were really, at the beginning of this, I didn't know I was doing this, but I got, that 10 a.m. Zoom that we just created, right? I think it was like March 20th. It was early in the game. And at 10 o'clock in the morning, which none of us really had to do anything. We're working from home, or we're just hanging out and thinking, what the heck happened to us? But we got up and I got obviously showered and my makeup on, and I put these big sparkly earrings that I had. And we have this event that we do every year in Toronto, where we get all our awards and everything. And so it's called Seminar. And I put my little seminar earrings on. I mean, you could have pajama pants on, but, we're table toppers. We're looking good. Sure. And I said to the girls, I go, I got my seminar earrings on. Well, the next Zoom call, they all put their sparkly earrings on. And I knew that some of them, as they were starting to say, they said, you know what? I wouldn't have had a reason to get up and have a shower. I live alone. I'm single. It wouldn't have mattered, but it mattered that I was going to be on the Zoom and I needed to look good. And because I feel that I look good, I was able to produce whatever it is, even that mental shift. So the other thing I would say is to sparkle. Being a woman is such an asset you can just, there's just something about a happy people. And you can reconnect with happiness. There is a way back if that's something that you're struggling with. And find what makes you happy. Do more of that.
Nice. And that's a difficult thing. Like, some of these sound easy, but some of them are difficult. I kind of getting the idea that hang on, where did I go? I kind of getting the idea that first bit about just like getting up, showing up, getting dressed, getting your makeup on, going out there, looking in the mirror, giving yourself permission to be like, I'm showing up today. This is it. It's almost like that sets the whole thing into motion. Yeah.
And we're doing a lot of that. As the girls are building their businesses, they're doing a lot of online Zoom makeovers. Yeah. And we're having a lot of fun with that. We do this hydrofacial that everybody gets the product, and we do these charcoal masks, and we have so much fun, and it's just that bonding and connecting with women and pampering. And so, when you're having a tough time, you need to have pampering. And we're going to talk about that, Ken, when you're on my show on the, right? We're going to talk about
Let's go.
How to pamper, how to get yourself up. It's going to be so much fun. Nice. But we have been doing that, and anyone who's watching and is on this call that would love to get a bit more of that or a little sample pack, let me know. We'll make sure we take care of you.
How can they get a hold of you if they wanted to reach out to you?
So you can send me a message on Instagram, because everybody is on. I have never done Instagram Live. This is so much.
There you go. There's been a ton of people filtering through, so we've been kind of like sitting at 10 the whole time. So they can reach out to you, they can DM you, and then just to contact you if they have any more questions, if they want some more insight. You seem very available, so you seem like you're okay for talking, right?
And we'd love to have them on our show, our wine show, if they want to come, and the show that you're on. So
sure. How did they get to the show? How do we watch your show?
Okay, so on my Instagram, on the latest post, the link is right under my it's in my bio.
Oh, it's in your bio. Okay.
In my bio. And there's a shopping list if they want to buy the wines that that John's going to be talking about. There's a shopping list.
Sure.
But I could also email it to them. They could find it on my Facebook. We can get them information if anybody wants to be on it. It's free, obviously, and it's a webinar. Free. It's 30 minutes. It's going to be super fun, and then there's prizes to be won. It's going to be great.
Well, that's fun. Prizes. Who doesn't love prizes? Everyone loves prizes. Okay, and that's June 25th, right?
June 25th at 5 p.m. Vancouver time.
At 5 p.m.
I'll give you my email address if anybody wants it. It's jlevers.
LEVERS.
.mk.
.mk.
At gmail.com.
At gmail.com.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. And then I'm going to post this all tomorrow, and so everybody that didn't get that, you guys can get it. Thank you so much, Jen. Thanks for your time.
It's an honor. I'm my new best friend, Ken. I love you.
Right, I love you too. So this is going to work out great. We're going to be best friends. One of the things that I don't want to miss this is just like, I love that you give yourself permission to pamper yourself. Like you give yourself permission to do nice things for yourself. You give yourself permission to feel pretty, to be pretty, to do that. Is that hard for you? Was that ever hard for you? That must be hard for some women to do.
Yeah, women struggle with this a lot because they'll put everybody else on the list before themselves. And so we want to flip that, because when you give yourself permission to feel better, to feel beautiful, whatever beauty is to you, and you just, it elevates you, it changes your life. And I always go back to saying that instead of you trying to change somebody else that's in your life that is not doing, or a lot of times we try to control that. We have no control anyway with that. But if you shift into a better you, they shift. It's automatic.
Yeah, of course.
They shift. It is not it's like with kids, it's not what's taught, it's what's caught. And so people will catch up with your energy, and you will attract a different person as well into your life. And it's pretty fun hanging around with people that are really excited about life and are empowering others. It's beautiful.
Or they won't, and they'll fall off.
And they won't, and they do get irritated by that because you're too happy.
You're too happy, yeah.
Some people are like, okay, that, you said, what do you think people thought of you? Well, I think that when I've had people tell me later, I really didn't think that anybody could be that happy.
Nice.
And I thought, yeah, we'll wait and see. It's so interesting. Really? I didn't know you thought that. But yeah,
This is great. Thanks, Jen. Everything you said is amazing. I love it. I love that you're empowering women. You were empowering women before it was cool. So it's cool now, but now you're doing it. Okay, anybody that wants to reach out, so it's June 25th, 5 p.m. Pacific Central Time. Go to her Instagram link, Jen Levers. Check her out. DM her if you have any more questions. Thank you.
And if you're needing to make money and build a business, we can teach you how to do that too.
Sure, but I would think that the best thing about that is you get to really be the best version of you possible.
That's it.
Maybe you got a business. I mean, you might get a car out of it, but man, imagine the changes you are going to have to make to just arrive at that journey. That's fantastic.
That's it.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much. Thanks, guys. Take care.
Okay. Good night.
Bye. Good night.